Mel Santiago here once again. So far, we've learned about identifying our emotions and the level of intensity. We also learned about verbalizing our emotions without blaming others for them. Now, the next step in the process is all about identifying the unmet need. So take a look back at your feelings wheel and notice that on one side of the feelings wheel, it's labeled feelings when our needs are met, and the other side, feelings when our needs are not met. This is super important because if we're going to identify feeling lonely, then that lets me know that I have an unmet need. This part doesn't require us to say anything to anyone. It requires very little vulnerability, but it does require a great deal of insight and self-honesty. We can go on until the bitter end, denying what our needs are or justifying why they're not being met or why they're good or why they're bad or all kinds of shit. But when we do this, we're dismissing ourselves and invalidating our experience. We have no control over when a feeling gets triggered. Feelings have what can be perceived as no rhyme or reason behind them. Well, they do, but it's super complex, and I won't get into all of that shit. That's for another video. But, however, we still cannot control our emotions being triggered. We can only control our response when the triggered emotional state happens. No matter what anyone else says, emotions are not to be controlled. They are to be felt. We spend our lives dismissing our emotions, and when we do that, we ultimately dismiss our own needs in the process. Because what we oftentimes fail to admit to ourselves is that if we know what we're feeling, we can then identify and uncover a solution. The solution is part 2 of this process. This is part 1. Really asking ourselves and allowing ourselves to acknowledge that there's an unmet need. Once we get that out of the way, we can go searching for the unmet need or identifying what those needs are. Again, it doesn't require you to tell anybody. You can keep this a top secret if you want. Again, you don't need to tell anyone what your unmet need is. I said the solution is a 2-part process, so this is only part 1. Part 2 will be in the next module, so stay tuned. Today we're able to identify our feelings and link them to at least one unmet need. You did some great work, now put it into practice. On that note, we do have to pause, but I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing rest of this beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.